Hello and welcome. We're back. I know it's been a while, guys, but enough for that right now. Let's go right into what I'm going to talk about today. And I decided to talk about why I don't support NA teams and kind of League of Legends as a whole. I haven't talked about League of Legends because a lot of it has been changing. I was trying to wait until everything kind of came in, everything was more concise, more detail about the teams and what was going on. I try and post on my Facebook and Twitter if you follow me there about the team roster changes and how everything's going, and it gives me a good little timeline too of how everything's going on and whatnot. But I get a lot of slack, I get a lot of hate because they're like, why don't you support your region? Why don't you support an NA team? Now, let's back up a little bit. I like some of the NA teams, don't get me wrong. But I don't like the teams as a whole. I just think that the teams as a whole have a lot of flaws and a lot of things that I just don't like. Like TSM. I like Dyrus. Dyrus was awesome. Turtle was pretty cool too. He was not my favorite ADC, but he was cool. And then the rest kind of steamrolled down from here. Odd one I prefer in the jungle, but that's besides the point. But TSM, I like TSM, and I give TSM a lot of slack, and I use TSM as a lot of examples because they're a well-known team, and their examples are just well-known to everybody. So when I talk about it, I think everybody knows what I'm talking about for the most part. I don't have to like be like, here's a link, read it, learn about it. You know, you already know about it. You kind of have your opinion on the situation. That's why I use them as an example a lot of times, good or bad. But I like TSM, the players. The organization I don't agree with. I think the organization has grown a lot, and Reggie has done a great job. A successful organization, nothing wrong with TSM. And I just don't support what the organization does or what the organization likes to do. Kind of not really team-wise. I mean, they have a good consensus of what they want to do, NA, League of Legends, or CS:GO, whatever they want to do. But just overall business decisions, I know that seems silly, but I don't know. I feel like they're more of a cash cow. When it comes to things, TSM's like all about that money, money, money. And that's why we see a lot of the more popular older teams that have been around for a long time be so successful is because they can dish out the money. You want a player, you're going to be throwing money at him. You think Piglet came over here to Liquid just because he was like, oh yeah, I would do NA anytime just because I love NA. No! Money! Making the money! And I'm not saying that other regions can't keep up with that, but there was a recent report, if you haven't kept up with the League of Legends stuff, that EU is behind times, baby. They are jipping you off on your contract. Well, let's not say jipping you off, but when it comes to prices and making deals with players, they are on the lower end of things. And if you don't enjoy where you work and you want to make more money, EU is not the place to be. That's why we probably see a lot of EU players actually come to NA, or EU players go out and venture off into China or even Korea, which is a lot rarer, but it could happen. But they're on the lower end of the spectrum. If you want to learn more about that, you can read that on your own time. But back to what I was saying. So NA teams. Back to, I can use anybody example. Cloud9. It was a newer team for most of the part. I do like most of their players. I think the biggest thing was that they dominated and changed the scene, which is not bad because teams do this all the time. The bad thing and the most frustrating thing is that there was a lot of cocky and arrogance, I think, in a lot of the teammates, and yeah, you kind of saw that a little bit. And I think a lot of people agree that I just could not get over that. Like, yes, you're good in NA, and then they had all this hype, and once again, we hear about this all the time. They're like, oh, this is the year. Cloud9 had like so much hype when they first came in because they were just dominating NA, and they sucked it up at Worlds. Like, I still can remember the Kassadin defeats of XPac A just that's the E for everybody that didn't know, the E move on Kassadin and just shitting all over Cloud9. It was very disappointing. Um, but the biggest thing for all the teams, and not just to go team by team and be like, I don't like this person and this person's an asshole. The biggest thing about NA is I just think we're behind. We're behind, and it's a really immature scene. And I'm not saying EU's that much farther ahead, and I'll talk about EU in a second because that's the main counter arguments. But I feel like we're so far behind. We have these great players, and they are good players, and I enjoy watching them, and they do amazing things in the LCS, and even at Worlds they held up well, especially this year. You just see Sneaky going on fire. You had Double Lift actually going on fire at Worlds, and it was just amazing to see that these NA players are going against the best of the best and just doing an amazing job. Just the team themselves just was not an overall better team than the other team they were facing, or vice versa, right? But the drama, when it comes to drama, it just seems that NA likes to pick at that drama, and we just like to observe that drama. And this is a culture here in America, and I think this is the biggest thing, is that we feed off of drama. We love drama. We just cannot get away from it. And I think that's one thing that's different. I'm not saying there's not drama in Korea. I'm not saying there's not drama in EU. I'm not saying there's not drama in China. There's drama all the time, all over the place. But I just think that we just like to expose it. We are like the culture for celebrities, culture for just all out. Oh, they said this, and he said that, and he went to this team, and he's doing that, and now he's taking this bribe from this, and they were sharing replays, and boom. And it's all NA, and this is all that it is all the time in NA. I feel like we play, we play, we play, and it's going okay, and then all of a sudden something happens. Something happens, like Reggie did a tweet. Oh, it says CLG sucks, and we got double left now, or some shit, right? And that's fine. You have to have rivalries. It's one thing or another. You have that in all sports. I'm not saying that's not the case, but it's in our case where you over exaggerate and over dramatize things. And what I mean by that is this is older, as we all know. Double F is now on TSM, which is fine. Great. I'm happy for Double F. He's finally on a different team. I'm shocked that it took him this long to actually get to another team, because I'm surprised that he hasn't jumped ship when he came to the to another team. But why am I talking about this now? Why are you talking about this now? This was over a long couple months ago, right? Double Lift already joined TSM. TSM has already played at IEM. Why are you talking about this? And why are you bringing it up? You're the one creating drama. Well, no, that is not correct here. Let me give it a second here. So let's rewind just a little bit. When Double Lift joined TSM, which is fine, like I said, nothing that. I wish the best for luck to him and TSM as a whole. I just didn't like the video. I didn't like how they presented Double Lift. I know they used a lot of funny innuendo things that Double Lift talked about. He's trash. Every other player's trash, and then he had a little trash bag, and then he's like, I'm looking for a team, and he's like, oh man, this better suits me now. And then it just seems so. It seemed one comical because it is funny. They're playing off of what Double Lift said and whatnot, which is fine. But it also seems so just degrading and just so not serious. Like I could not, like Double's like, this is a better team now, and I'm like, what? Like really? Like TSM? How many more years do you have to play? Like what is your watch working? Or how old are you? Just with the short careers in esports, and just a little side note there. I don't know how longer Double Lift is going to play. I'm not saying Double Lift is not good anymore. I'm not saying that at all. He did amazing last split, and it just shocks me now that he's doing a roster swap. And like I said, how many more years does he have? And we can just go into detail on that. But just the video itself and everything kind of died down. Everything was great, no big deal. And then of course, somebody had to make a topic up on the CLG subreddit forum. Gotta love Reddit, but the subreddit forum, he's like, the topic consisted of who else is looking for a farewell Wild Turtle video and wishes that Double Lift's departure from CLG could have ended the same way, right? And you're like, oh, I wish, because Turtle recently left TSM, as you know. And it was a great video, and they're remembering the times, and Reggie looked like a good guy, and that was all hoo-ha, hoo-ha. And then, of course, who comments on this Reddit sub post? Hotshot GG! I will pull it up somewhere in the video, or it will be down below. Hotshot GG says, hey, finally, time to make a, hold on, there you go, just gotta print it before it disappears all of a sudden. Finally, time to make a clarification. I don't know why, but his statements were actually supported by CLG's CEO. And that's quote unquote. The statement that Devin made was that Reginald contacted CLG legitimately and asked for permission to talk to everyone, which is entirely correct. Reggie did the right thing. My statement was that Doublelift tried to get multiple people to leave CLG and to TSM before we even could gave our contracts out. Timeline. Reggie asked for permission to talk to the team. Malexia grants permission. It's important to note that the season just ended and we wanted everyone to relax, but a bit because it had been a long season. We didn't give out our contracts. Doublelift aggressively approaches a few people on CLG to join TSM. The people offered decline, and we let Doublelift know that we won't be re-signing it with him. CLG gives out contracts. Doublelift was essentially helping TSM dismantle our roster, which is why when people say Doublelift is so loyal, I have to roll my eyes a bit, right? So he comments on this thread. This is it. He's downvoted to Oblivion, which is the natural response of everybody on the team. For some odd reason, they're downvoting him on the CLG forums. I just find that funny. But why? See, this is what I'm talking about. Let it go, man. Like, people just can't let it go. Like, they hold on to it like it's something so important to them. They're like, man. And it's some of it's pride. I can understand. Doublelift was on COG for years, and they were losing, and they finally won. They finally won NA. They got to Worlds. They did pretty well at Worlds. Got eliminated at group stages, but did held their own. Especially Doublelift, like I said, he played amazing at Worlds, going up against the best of the best, having a few iffy moments. But you know, why? Why are we talking about this still? Why does it matter to this person? Because I don't know the username. They deleted their name or deleted by, and it just says this thread has been deleted. Why does this user care? Why does it matter what video, what the CLG organization did for Doublelift and what they did for Turtle? They're two different organizations. They do different things. They either release a press thing, they write the thing, and then what happens if they did? No, okay, so they take the suggestion here, right? They take the suggestion. Why don't we make a video for Doublelift? And Doublelift, films the thing, and he releases this video a couple weeks later because the people wanted it. And then people are bitching because, oh, CLG is copying TSM's idea. Oh, they were just doing what TSM was doing. And there's never a fair ground. But what I really don't understand is why Hotshot GG took the time to, I know this happened like a month ago, to rehash this whole thing. Why even bring it up? And there's a lot of questions. It just brings up more questions. Like, that's the biggest thing in NA is that if you really follow things closely, it's that they don't give you all the answers. They never give you all the answers. They just give you that little piece of annoying information that pokes you. It's like somebody poking you all the time. And they don't pat you on the shoulder. They just poke you. And you're like, "Okay, what do you want?" And then they never tell you what you want. They just give you a little bit of information. And then they poke you again and give you a little bit more information. And it's just frustrating. It's frustrating because this always happens in NA, and we don't get taken seriously. It's already bad enough that there's a lot of things that we're behind in the scene, and it's bad enough that we don't do well at Worlds. And that is a little bit of it. I'm like, are we doing everything we can to really be Worlds? I know we do roster swaps, and we got these coaches and these analysis now, and we've come a long way. Let me tell you, we've come a long way. Like I said. But are we doing everything that we can to get to Worlds and get to, win the championship? Is there something we can do differently? Is there time we can take training? Is LCS end all be all? And that was another thing. I find LCS to be frustrating. Even if we go to 2v2s like people are speculating. What I mean by that is people are speculating that we have 2 matches per week instead of 1. Or having a best of 2 or some shit like that. Is that really going to make it better? Is NA going to be all of a sudden better now because they have an extra match to play? Why aren't they in more 5v5s? You look at Korea, they're doing 5v5s all the time. Get to the last match, it's blind pick. This is you can't even ask for anything better than that. You could have 2 Zeds in a game. But it's just 1 match per week, your team, you watch, and that was pretty much it. Even if they change it up, like I said. Is that all we can do? So the main things that I want to bring up to kind of rehash and conclude here is 1, like I said, I like generally some of the players, but I just don't support like the organizations. I don't like the ideas and kind of how they run things and just kind of shady, shitty things from all the drama, which leads me into my right next topic, the drama. I understand it's great to have rivalries, and I love having rivalries. That's great. I love it. COG versus TSM, the long-lasting thing that we've had. And thirdly, of course, Worlds. Like our poor representation of are we really doing everything we can to get to Worlds? Is there everything in our power that we could really do to actually perform and do well at Worlds and actually get to the finals? Get to the finals, semifinals, I would even be happy with. And even winning a championship and bringing one home. Even Europe has one, and people argue, oh, well, that was before Korea, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fair enough. But it leaves me with my last statement, and people are like, well, look at you, you're a Gambit fan. And after reconsideration and thinking about it when I was even making this video, talking about this video, I, uh, I, not really a big EU fan either. Now, if Gambit is considering selling their team, and if this is true and they do sell their team, I most likely will probably cheer for Renegades on NA, which is an NA team, because they do have some players I do enjoy. But overall, I don't. I think NA is in the same boat as NA or EU. I mean, sorry, EU's in the same boat. Are they doing everything they can to prepare for Worlds? Are they? Can they do more to prepare for Worlds? So these are just things I'm like, maybe not. And yeah, I had a team because they Moscow 5 back before Gambit changed to Gambit. Uh, they were dominating. They were good. They were innovative. They just had a good synergy team, and they actually showed. They showed at Worlds, and they were doing really well. And Taipei Assassins upset them, and from then I was just a fan. They actually showed that hey, they dominated Europe. They're coming over here. They were dominating Worlds until Taipei Assassins upset them, and they were, like I said, it was a representable team. And if you take that to like the Cloud9 effect, Cloud9 was dominating. They get to Worlds and Fnatic, and I'm not saying it doesn't matter if it was EU, whoever stomped on them, but it was Fnatic. But Fnatic kind of, you know, gave them a run for their money. Like their bans were bad. Like they gave him Cassian twice. This one Cassian was really, really OP strong, and Xpac was like, "I'm gonna backdoor you." He still does that. Let's be honest. And you're just like, really, really, NA? Like you come in here with your cockiness. I know you're good, but did you really prepare? It kind of just makes me feel like, are you really preparing, or are you just here for the paycheck? Like, and like I said, EU is probably the same way. So I'm kind of jumping the ship. If, like I said, I'm still a Gambit fan, and I know people bring that up. They're like, look at Gambit now. But if Gambit sells out and they sell their spot because they can't get players or they can't get the rosters right, I'll probably, like I said, not really have a team to support anymore. And maybe Renegades. Maybe Renegades would be my team for an NA team. But that is it. That's kind of why I don't support NA. This is why I'm more of an EU fan. I just see that EU gets a lot of good players, and it's just not like they do really well there in EU, and then they just kind of stop at Worlds. They do that extra push. Look at Fnatic this year was doing really well, even though Huni kind of choked a little bit. They still did well. And that is it. That is it. I love your faces. If you enjoy this, make sure you click that subscribe button at the end. And I guys will see you next time. Bye, guys.